Hello guys, welcome back to episode 32, I think, of What If Civilization Started Over. Now, once again, my map kind of failed, and so some things might be a bit bad. Like, I think this country was actually here. I think they were. If not, they got invaded. And these guys, as for the first things, these guys, if they shouldn't have already been in there, they are quickly invaded. Very quickly. Yoink, basically, the Russian team says, and they take it for themselves. And they erase the two capital cities. Now, basically, back here. So, in the last episode, we saw probably one of the major things, which is the star team coming out and as a alliance against the triangle team. And so, in this video, we're going to be exploring a bit more about what's going on here. And so, yeah. So, first off, the Greek team, the Western Iberian country, the Catalonian team, and this blue team right here, and this team right here, are all basically thinking of joining a different side. These guys want to join in on the triangle team, mainly because the Catalonian team wants to join in the star team so that they could possibly get a bit more colonies. The Greek team, obviously because they have a colony, they kind of want to join up with the star squad. These guys are basically friends with the triangle team, and these guys are scared of the triangle team, even though they are, I think they were helped by the triangle team. However, the triangle team has been very aggressive in recent times, and so they are absolutely horrified. And so, so only one of these countries actually ends up joining an alliance, and that is the Western Iberian country joins in on the Triangle Alliance. However, soon probably the Catalonian team and this blue team right here will probably end up joining. Anyways, enough speaking of the alliances. We actually have one major thing happening, which is the Irish team have had this colony here after World War I. However, the people here want liberation, and so they're going to fight for liberation. So the fight starts in the south right here, where there's a lot of ideas that they want to be free. And we actually have a country joining in on this fight, which is these guys, who basically quickly strive just so that they can get the coastline. And this leaves the northern half of the area only a bit controlled. However, once again, this area not very stable, as lots of people just want to leave, and so that is what they do. There's another revolt, leaving just this area right here. However, in the end, it is all split up. And so the peace treaty, well, it's not really a peace treaty. These guys are they are given independence. However, these guys demand land like this, connecting them with the ocean. And so this leaves this area, which allows for these guys to become a country. And so their capital cities are going to be here and here. And so we now have two new countries in the African continent, around where modern day Morocco is. And now, while we're in Africa, we actually have this country right here getting invaded by this purple team, who who sends in troops very quickly. However, they mainly focus around the lake, which is where a lot of their population is. They even managed to cut off this area, which they are able to take, as well as then making a big push across the coast, basically forcing these guys to very quickly surrender. And let's see how that looks. So the peace treaty, we have these guys taking quite a lot of the southern land and a little bit of land around the lake, and so now they've once again expanded. However, we're going to actually go to one of the stronger countries in Africa, the pirates. Now, their expansion hasn't been the greatest, and the original pirates there are no longer the leaders of the country, so they're not really even the pirate country. And so a couple of people in the country decide to lead a couple rebellions, mainly one up here in the north, one down here in the south, and one in the middle here. These are the proper pirates. Over here are the people who are normal or like aren't part of the pirate union. They are in support of the government's idea of being an actual country. However, the pirates are obviously like no, and so they quickly manage to take up all their fronts, and these guys are slowly becoming a bit more like they aren't obviously pirates as we think of them nowadays, because they are a lot stronger, as they have to survive during a very difficult time. And so they actually manage to take this coast right here, and with this they keep on slowly taking off chunks and making the people realize that they're no longer the pirates they used to be. And so a lot of the east breaks away, however the west is very normal. However, with these rebellions there is just countries breaking away as well. We have one rebellion over here and a dark purple rebellion over here, and one final one, which is this lime country over here, very similar to these guys. However, after seeing this, the government quickly decides to surrender, and so we're actually gonna keep the pirates as this color and turn these guys into that color, and probably give these guys a different color as well. That's too quick. Yeah, we'll give them that color, and actually probably swap these guys around. Yeah, and so the peace deal between these two countries looks something like this, with them keeping the capital on this island right here. The purple team gets probably the least amount of land, however they do get a little bit of the blue team right here, and treaty here. However, the blue team gains a little bit of land out of the other rebellion, and finally the green team gets quite a lot of land out of this back from this rebellion, as they were the weakest rebellion of them all. However, they still obviously took over a bit of land. And so capital cities, boom, 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 and boom. And so now obviously actually this island is also part of the pirates. So then pirates now, and this area is going to go over to the blue team. Let's shift these guys' colour back. And so now these guys are fully back. And so with this, the pirates, and basically immediately after this, immediately start causing havoc as they come over here into the holy cities and take a couple of lands along the soil here. Now the red team is like, whoa, holy cities, whoa. And so what they do is the red team actually comes in and kicks out the pirates, where the pirates actually leave very quickly, as I think their plan was to get these two to fight. And so the holy city sees that the red team's entering, and they're like, oh hell no, so they kill a couple of their troops, and the red team's like, whoa, why are you doing that? And then so they then just start sending the army into the holy cities, take the capital, force the country to surrender, and yeah, so the peace treaty is the red team taking a lot of land. However, the rest of it is turned into a puppet. I'll do that after the recording of the video. So basically, they don't actually know. You know what? They completely take it. However, making it a very integral part, a very important couple of provinces over here. And so heading out of the African area here, in Eastern Asia, the Chinese team has surprisingly been very stable. As we know, they often have completely revolted into a civil war. Or last time that happened, the two countries are formed, and so once again there is slight unrest in the country of China. However, this time the government handles it a bit differently. Instead of saying no and creating a rebellion that takes a lot of their country, they decide to release the provinces, which are mainly ones out here, and is like, if you don't bother us again, you can have your independence and we won't interfere with how you live. And so very quickly, and so the green team is given independence here. However, a little bit of the land is given over to some countries, as some of these provinces want to not be with them and want to be instead. However, this does lead to a little bit of a panhandle, but the green team doesn't really care, as they've got independence. And so their capital city is going to be right there, and a new country is born in Eastern Asia. However, that's not the end of the road, as this northern area once again doesn't really want to be part of China, and China's like, fine, but don't all of you. And then it seems like the puppet basically the puppet just wanted independence, and China's like, fine, but that's the last area getting independence. And so China, there is the last area that China's willing to give independence. However, the north and south of this country just really are quite different, and there's a great big divide. Basically something looks something like this, and the north breaks away and there is a fight. So the blue team at first has no trouble sweeping into these highly undeveloped areas. However, the Chinese team does do a little bit of a pushback in more crucial areas. However, seeing how much land they're losing here, they have to focus quite a lot of their troops over here, and the counteroffensive goes really, really well. However, this does allow the blue team to continue their front in the east, and even putting a little bit of a pushback against the Chinese. And the Chinese are kind of lost. They think they really can't do much, as it's basically equal in power, because a lot of the people are fighting for the Northern Rebellion, and so eventually the Chinese decide to cave in, and an official peace treaty is signed, where the blue team gets independence and even quite a lot of land. However, the Chinese do get a little bit of their land back up and over in here. However, this leaves the Chinese team in absolute ruins, and they are no longer. So before they were a very strong country, probably not second or third, but like sixth. However, now they are very low, as a lot of their important industrial things were up here. Obviously, they have quite a lot of good stuff down here. However, so this is where most of the people lived. However, the industrial area was up there. And so we actually have this country becoming one of the stronger nations in the world, and a very fierce rivalry between these two. Now, heading out of East Asia, we're going to go to the Americas, where this little poor country is kind of destroyed. The Central American country quickly comes in, as well as these guys who come in for, once again, peacekeeping forces. However, it's not really peacekeeping forces, as this capital is erased and these guys are back. And we have another war taking place, which is between these two countries. There's no real reason. They just kind of felt, the leader kind of just wanted more land. They mainly focus up on the coast right here, while the blue team also joins in very quickly, taking a lot of the central lands and threatening to capture the capital. However, the troops are pulled back out, and so it is able to push them back very quickly, as they are one of the stronger countries. However, obviously leads to a pushback on the front here, and it is basically stalemated until these guys manage to make a breakthrough over here, no longer focusing on completely on the coastal cities, and so they managed to quickly invade in here, and the Argentine country is doing very well, and with this they even managed to push up very quickly into the west of the country, and forcing them to basically sign peace, as it is, after that, it is not looking good for the blue team. And so what we have is a large amount of provinces in the west here join up, as well as a couple down here. And so we now have a little bit of a larger country in South America. However, our main focus is over here, where we have the Texan team coming in and taking a bit of a bite out of these guys, as they very quickly threaten the capital, making a lot of the countries thinking, was this a good idea? However, the pushback is decently good, and so the people here are getting a little bit less of an unrest. However, I'm probably going to call it Texas? No, just the US basically manages to hold off, and then launch a massive offensive in the north here. And these guys like, whoa. They send troops up here to stop the advance. However, that is basically what the USA wanted them to do, as they pretend to go like this, trying to encircle a couple troops, but obviously this is found out. However, that is actually not their intentions, and they make a spearhead towards the capital, and so this allows them to take the capital and a massive encirclement here, as they also take a bit more land from the south. And so these guys are like, okay, we sign for peace. And so the peace treaty, it looks something like this, where the US takes a lot of southern lands and a little bit northern lands up here, as this isn't really where they cared about going. So with this, the US is becoming a very strong power in the world. However, the only thing holding them back is that they do not have the greatest of navies. And so there is basically a big divide on this. There's a big split, and no one from the old world is really talking to people over here, apart from the Italian team, South America, where they have a large amount of influence. However, in North America, the Triangle team has a larger influence than the Star team. And so for a couple more things, the Yellow team goes back on their expansive journey as they invade into these guys, quickly taking the capital and forcing capitulation within 6 days. It is one of the quickest wars in all of history at this time, and people are very surprised at the strength of the Yellow team, and even the Russians are a bit surprised by this, but they're not going to question it. They're allies with them, and so why would they question it? However, I think that's it for today's video. Hope you guys have enjoyed, and I'll see you in the next one, where the tensions will heighten, and possibly in the one after that there might be World War II. Anyways, see you in the next one. Goodbye.